everybody. Welcome back to Crafted by Corie. Are you going to sit down? Are you going to say hi to the nice people? What are you doing? Are you going to say hello? If you're new, I'm Corie. This is Sammy. He hasn't been on camera for a while, but we were missing you guys, so wanted to say hello. Today, I'm really excited that you're here. I've got a bunch of new Christmas and winter DIYs for you, so let's get right into the crafting. DIY number 1. So this is my inspiration picture, the red pre-lit LED ornament from Kirkland's, and this is what I'm going to be using. It's a terrarium from the Dollar Tree, as well as one of these napkin rings, also from the Dollar Tree. As you can see, it's a package of 6, but I'm just going to use one of them. And then I'm going to use one of these little key rings as well, plus my liquid hairspray. And then ARTEZA also sent me this pack of 54 different glitter bottles. They are awesome, and I wish I had shown you a little bit more about them, but I'm going to be using the holographic red, and there is the holographic red that I'm going to be using for this project. So I'm going to start out by taking that little knobby thing off the top of the terrarium. I actually did end up screwing it back in because I figured I've got a lot of holes in this thing, so trying to kind of swoosh the hairspray around there, I was trying not to make a mess. I wasn't entirely successful, but it occurred to me afterwards that I probably should have just taped up the holes, the little holes, and then I could have used the large hole to just spray the hairspray in, because I did end up getting a little bit too much of the hairspray in there, and then I didn't let it drain as much as I really should have. So anyway, once I had that situation rectified, I went ahead and added my glitter in, and I'm just moving it around so that it's covering the inside of the giant ornament, I'll call it, and then knocking out the rest of the glitter that I'll put away for a future project. Now I am taking one of the napkin rings as well as one of these little key rings, and I'm going to fashion a top. I'm using just a scrap piece of foam core here, and I'm going to trace out the shape that I need to kind of fill in the top of that napkin ring. And then I'm also going to cut a slit through the middle of that, as you can see, and going to position my little key ring in through there, and then I'm going to secure it with hot glue. I did take the little key ring out to secure it, and now I'm using my ARTEZA acrylic silver paint to paint the top of that so that it matches, and then I'm going to push my little key ring back in through to complete the little cap for my ornament. And then I went ahead and secured that with hot glue as well. More hot glue to now secure this to the ornament. I'm covering up that side hole so that that is camouflaged. And so there it is so far. I am loving this. So I have some ribbon that I picked up from Costco. This is a newer ribbon that I just found the other day. I was really excited to see it. I just think it's really super pretty with this red and ivory and black buffalo check. And I'm going to create a hanger, if you will, with it, but I'm going to tie a bow in it and then lay it back over itself so it kind of rests on top of that other hole to camouflage that other hole so that we don't have that just kind of hanging out there and showing. So I'm tying my bow to the size and shape that I wanted and just playing with it until I get it to the right size. And once I have that all set, I'm going to go ahead and dovetail my ends, maybe once I'm done playing with it. So I'm going to dovetail my ends, fold them in half, and cut it at an angle. Do the same thing with the back side. I left that one a little bit longer to help camouflage the large hole that's at the back. Now using some hot glue just to secure that in place so that my hole is covered. And I apologize if you're hearing chewing noises. Sammy is here with me as usual, and he is chewing on a rawhide, so he's being a little noisy, so sorry about that. But I love this piece. So then I did take some Dollar Tree lights, and I went ahead and added those in to light up our ornament. And here it is. So if you are new to my channel is Crafted by Corie, and my name is Corie, and I love to do all kinds of different DIYs and crafts, usually on a budget. I do a lot of Dollar Tree, I do some Trash to Treasure, and I am just so thrilled to have you here. So thank you for being here with me and for all of the support. If you haven't already subscribed, I hope you'll do so. DIY number 2. So this is going to be a super fast and easy DIY. I've created these decals on my Silhouette Cameo, and I'm going to prepare my mugs that I got from the Dollar Tree, and then I'm just going to apply my decals onto each of the mugs. And I am going to make these available in my Etsy shop. So if you don't have a vinyl cutter and you have interest in purchasing one of these decals, I will make them available for purchase on Etsy. Now, I have to say that I am going to make a couple of them available in 2 versions. So the first version would be weeded, which is what I normally would do for you, is basically having it all ready to go just like you're seeing here. And the other is going to be unweeded, which means that you would be able to weed it yourself, because some of the detail on some of these is so intricate that it just takes a lot of time. So I'm going to be offering 2 price points on that. But look at this Farm Fresh Christmas tree one. I love that so much. And then the 4th one, Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. So I just thought it was nice, and this could be a really great gift to make for somebody. And it's inexpensive, but it's handmade, and I found that it's fine in the dishwasher. DIY number 3. So these are some inspiration pictures from Michael's. They are basically, they hide the base of your Christmas tree. And I decided I was going to make one out of these signs from the Dollar Tree. These are just a heavy cardboard, I'm going to say. It's not wood. You absolutely could use wood. I had another idea to do one with pallet wood, but I ultimately decided, at least for this video, I wanted to just do it something quick. So I'm giving them all a coat with my plaster Waverly chalk paint, and then I'm going to go over it with my antique wax. So I am going to make these look like wood. Now, very simple, I'm coming in with my Dollar Tree ribbon, and I am going to apply this with hot glue across the top, about 2.5 inches down from the top, leaving a tail of about 10 inches, because I'm going to be wanting to be able to tie the 2 ends together. So you'll see what I'm doing. Now I have 2 of these sandwiched together, so that's why I'm flipping it over, and I am going to be gluing the ribbon down to the second board. So there are 2 of these here that I have sandwiched, just to be clear. And you'll see in a second when I open them up, I'm going to be adding in a 3rd board and continuing on. See there? So I'm going to fold it the opposite way to get it out of the way. And I'm going to bring a third board in, and I'm going to continue my ribbon along and secure that to the third board. Now, the reason I'm doing it this way rather than laying them all out in a row and gluing the ribbon that way is because if I don't provide it with enough room to go around the bend, it's not going to bend properly to create my box. And I also want to be able to store these flat at the end of the season. So I want them to be able to fold up, which by doing it this way, they will. So you can see I'm just flipping them back and forth, going to add my fourth board in here to have my fourth wall, if you will. I did run out of this particular spool of ribbon, so I am going to come in with a new spool. I'm going to overlap these. So I'm going to have my 10-inch tail, and I'm going to cut that about, I think it's about halfway up the board is where I'm going to cut this. Yep. And I'll go ahead and secure that new ribbon down, and then I'll come back over that ribbon with the original ribbon just to make it more secure and continue and not have a seam in the middle of my board, if that makes sense. So I'm flipping the end of the ribbon over. I'm just going to use a dab of hot glue there to make sure that it's got a nice finished edge on it. And then, as I said, I'm going to come back in with the hot glue and do a line of glue right along the entire length, right over top of that other ribbon as well. And then apply this ribbon over. Had I not run out of ribbon, I would have just kept going and I wouldn't have needed to do this step, and I would have just cut it off with the 10-inch tail. So hopefully that's making sense. So now I'm going to come in, I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom part. And again, I'm going to be about 2.5 inches up from the bottom, and I'm gonna go ahead and apply the, actually I'm saying 2.5 inches. I think it was actually only 1.5 inches. So sorry. So I've got 1.5 inches space at the top and then 1.5 inches at the bottom, because each of those little squares you see on my cutting mat are 1/2 inch squares. So apologies for that. So coming back and forth and doing this same thing with the bottom part until I have the ribbon securing all 4 boards together all the way around and leaving sufficient space for my boards to bend at each intersection. Hopefully this is making sense the way that I'm saying it. I've got one more length to glue down here. And then really we're done. So here we go. And then I'm just going to tie the little ties together. How simple and quick is that? And there you have it. So it's time for the shout out time out. Awesome, Amy. Look at these mini fireplaces and all those cute little stockings and all the details. So pretty. And beautiful, Bobby. These nutcrackers are absolutely gorgeous. Just such delicate colors. Really pretty. Lovely, Lena. Lena's been busy. Look at all these fantastic projects that Lena's put together. Just fantastic. And very nice, Valerie. Adorable ornaments. I can just picture these on her tree. Just such a great job. And very nice, Vicky. Vicky as well has done some fantastic projects. I just love this. Great job to all of you. So I would love to give you a shout out as well. If you have interest, please email me a picture at craftedbycorie@gmail.com. DIY number 4. So ARTEZA also has sent me these felt sheets. It's 30 in the pack and it's all different colors. So they are also self-adhesive, which makes them really great to work with as far as making sure if you want to be adhering them to something. So I've pulled out the white, the black, the red, the green, and the orange, and I'm drawing on the back, on the paper part, that's covering up the adhesive, and I am fashioning the shape of a snowman, and I'm going to go ahead and just cut that out. And then I'm going to cut a second one. I flipped it over so that the paper was back to back, cut out the same exact shape, because eventually I'm going to apply them together. So now I'm using the black, and I'm going to do the same process, but fashioning him a hat. So cutting out the hat shape that I've drawn on there, and then I'm going to flip it over, as you can see, and I'm cutting out the same shape mirrored again, because I am again going to be applying those together eventually. So here's the shape of him, and using one of my Dollar Tree picks, just cutting off some little twigs to use for arms. I pulled off the backing, and you can see that it's nice and sticky. So applying my branches for my arms, and I'm going to go ahead and apply the other side of him. Now, this would be a great craft to do with kids, your grandkids, if you have grandkids. It's a fun, easy project that really anybody can do. And then just going to clean up some of the edges if I didn't get it lined up completely properly. So that's what I'm doing here now. And then I'm going to do the same thing with his hat. I am going to secure that to his head that way, but I'm also going to secure the hanger because I'm making a little ornament for this. So I'm just using a heavy thread. I'm going to go ahead, make a loop, and tie a knot in it. I know it's kind of hard to see what I'm doing there because it kind of blends with my mat. But going to do the same thing. I'm going to peel away the paper from the adhesive. I'm going to rest my little snowman on that where I want him. And this stuff is really sticky, you guys. And then I'm going to go ahead and apply my little hanger. I'm getting that right down well into the hat area so that it isn't at risk of pulling out. And then I'm going to apply the other side of the hat. And so now I'm just going to cut out some embellishments. I'm going to make him a little red ribbon, I guess. I mean, obviously I'm using felt here, but just whatever they put around the hat. I think it's a ribbon that goes around a top hat, isn't it? So creating that look, and again, I'm doing both sides because y'all know me. I gotta have both sides of my projects complete so that it looks like it's all cohesive. And now I'm using the green, and I couldn't zoom in enough because it just got blurry here, but I'm just creating little tiny pieces of holly leaves that I'm going to embellish his hat with. And I made 2 of those. And then I went ahead and pulled the papers off and stuck them down when I had them the way that I wanted them. And then I cut off a little piece of the orange for his nose. And then I'm taking some scraps of the black felt from cutting out the hat, and I made him eyes and then also a mouth with the felt. I also have these beads. My sister gave me a whole thing of this jewelry making kit that her girls weren't going to be using any longer. And so I pulled out some of the beads from there to use for his buttons, but I decided I wanted to use the felt for his eyes and his mouth. So that's what I did there. And now I'm just using my little tweezers to help hold the little beads, the buttons, using a teeny tiny little dab of hot glue for each of these and just securing them in place. So again, really easy project. You could also use school glue for this. If you're doing this with little kids, I definitely recommend school glue versus a hot glue gun. But here he is so far. He's looking rather dapper. And now I'm taking some Dollar Tree ribbon and I am just going to fashion him a little scarf. I just clipped that off and tied it the way that I wanted. I actually tied it like I would like a man's tie. I just thought it would be cute that way. I don't know. And then I trimmed that off. And there he is. DIY number 5. So for this DIY, I am using my manila rope. Milan. Yes, I think I got it right this time. It's manila rope. I always wanted to call it Milan. But so I'm going to be using 3 lengths of this. They are about 9 feet long each, and I tied them in a knot, as you can see, and then I just braided the whole length and then tied off the end. Now I found the middle, and I'm going to start at the middle and using a whole bunch of Dollar Tree picks. I'm using white and silver, and then I'm also going to be accenting this with blue in a little while. I'm making this for my sister, for her home, and in her house they celebrate both Christmas and Hanukkah. So my goal here was to create a really pretty garland for their fireplace that would be in the colors for Hanukkah and work for both holidays. So that was my thought here. And my sister and I are very, very different. It's funny, when we're together, I can't tell you how many people have asked us if we're twins, but we actually are 4 years apart, and we have very different tastes. So I tend to like my bling and everything and farmhouse, and my sister is a little bit more modern at her home and a little bit more conservative, I would say. So she likes things that are a little bit more simple. So she had to have some bling, right? Because it's the holidays. But I did not make this super full. And she was very happy with it when she saw the end result. So you'll be seeing it on her mantle in just a little bit. But I'm just coming in here with the wire-edged ribbon, and I've got, as you can see, a blue and a silver, and I'm just tucking everything into the braided manila rope. Oh my goodness, I can't even remember what it is now, but I keep saying it the wrong way, so you know what I mean. But I am now going to create bows with what I have left of the silver and then with some more of the blue ribbon. I had just enough of this silver ribbon to do a double loop on both sides. So this is going to be a rather simple bow with just 2 loops. And I am going to secure it in the middle there once I have it the way that I want it with a silver chenille stem, pipe cleaner, whatever you want to call it. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the blue. I'm going to be doing a looping over it. I can't even talk tonight, you guys, so bear with me. But rolling it over onto itself, and I'm going to be doing 3 loops on either side for the blue part of the ribbon. So you can see I'm just rolling it over, and I do have a bow tutorial out now. So if you're interested in getting a little bit more instruction on exactly how to make bows like this, I will put a link in the description box to my bow tutorial, so you can feel free to check that out as well. So I'm going to undo my little chenille stem now that I've got the blue part ready, and I'm going to set that right up on top of the silver, and then I'm going to go ahead and secure that as well. And if you hear bells, you're not crazy. I've got jingle bells going off in the back because that is Sammy trying to tell me that he wants to go outside. So we're almost done here. He's going to be able to wait for just 2 more minutes. So I did cut off another length of ribbon, and I am just going to fluff up my ribbon. The length that I cut obviously is the tail. I just tied that around the center to hide my chenille stem, but I left the chenille stem out. I kind of straddled it so that we'll use that stem to actually attach it to the garland, which is what I'm going to do now. So I'm attaching that right in the middle, and I know you can't really see what I'm doing, but I'm basically pulling the chenille stem around the garland and tying that off. And here it is at Kim's house. Let me know what you think. Okay, everybody, that's it for today. If you enjoyed the project, I hope you'll give me a big thumbs up because it really does help support my channel. And please do subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you get alerted every time I upload a new video. Until the next time, be well, be kind, and make it a great day. Thank you so much for watching. Take good care. Bye.